Idaho Spring Bear Backcountry Pack Dump. That's what we're doing today. Hey, what's up? It's Josh from the Dialed In Hunter. I've got another backpack dump for you here. This time it was for an Idaho spring bear hunt that took place in late April, early May. Okay, it was an 8-day long backcountry hunt, crazy weather, super fun adventure. So, starting at the core of everything, I brought with me the EXO K3 4800 right there. Everything fit in there just fine. I did have it filled to the gills. Had the snow collar up pretty much all the way, but I was able to fit 8 days of gear and food, everything into the inside of the backpack without using the load shelf like I've done in the past to carry food in. That's how I've gotten away with doing like 10-day hunts with a smaller type of backpack. So that pack has always worked great. I mean, basically how I lay it out is all of my backcountry gear goes in the main compartment and the side pouches, and the lid holds a day of food and anything that I need, that I think I might need like right away, like you know, maybe batteries or something like that. That's going to be in the lid. My inReach is up in the lid, which is a Garmin 66i. So that's the backpack. Let's jump into sleep system. All right. So up on top of the bag here is my pillow. This is a Sea Summit Aeros, super lightweight, folds up nice and small, and it is so worth it to bring a pillow with you on these backpack hunts. Like, everything you do out there is exhausting, you know, everything is work. So good sleep is really important. In a pillow, for the longest time, I like toughed it out and did like, you know, oh, I'll sleep on a pair of pants or something like that or whatever. This is a game changer, a pillow in the backcountry. So love that thing. The sleeping bag that I brought with me was a Feathered Friends Lark UL10. So 10-degree bag. It's a down bag. I believe it's 900 fill goose down. Really impressed with this bag. I did a review on this sleeping bag over at Gear Junkie. I'll try to put a link for that down below. But the bag did great. And it even got a little wet, man. Like I said, the weather was kind of crazy, so I was getting in and out of the tent oftentimes with wet clothes. And inevitably those wet clothes would touch the bag here and there, and it got a little wet, but it still performed great. So that's the bag. So the shelter, a lot of excitement around this right now. Okay, this is the new Rincon 2-person from Argali. Okay, so I have these in separate stuff sacks right now. But you can fit all this into one of these. So this is the tent and this is the insert. Okay. I opted to bring the insert with me, honestly, because ticks freak me out, man. Like, I just like can't bring myself to do like a floorless setup when the ticks are out and about. So, this shelter, I'm super psyched on it, man. The tent is 19 ounces if you want to run it floorless, and then if you want to add the insert, it basically adds like another pound, like over a pound to the whole setup. So for a shade over 2 pounds, you've got a actual 2-person tent. This is not a 2-person tent that fits 1 person. Okay, for 1 person it is a palace. I was able to get all my stuff in there, like had gear laying all over the freaking place, but you can get 2 people and gear inside of this tent. So the space to weight ratio is pretty awesome. I'm really excited about that. So it's a TP style shelter. This is the pole. and I've just been really impressed with it, man. I'm excited to. This is what I'll be running for most of the season. So that's the tent. And then the steaks, quick note on that, MSR groundhog steaks, little red steak. That's what I bring with me. Those things are awesome. I've had really good luck with those. They're really strong and super lightweight. So the sleeping pad I bring, this is a TherMAREST NeoAir X LITE. It's the newer version. So the difference between the newer version and the older version is pretty much the valve. That's the different part. With this one, the valve is like this twist guy, and you can lock it, and it's got a lip on it. TherMAREST actually included one of those bags where you can attach. It has an attachment on it that goes onto the valve of this sleeping pad. And you can actually blow the pad up with that bag simply by just blowing air, just like blow air into the bag and push it down, and it'll push the air into the sleeping pad. Super, super nifty, man. I don't know how many times I'm out there on these crazy hunts and I'm sitting there trying to blow up a sleeping pad, and you get lightheaded, you feel like you're gonna pass out. You don't have to do that with this. So really excited with about this pad. I haven't had any issues with it. The other one I had lasted me, I think, 5 years, and it never stopped working. But the internal one of the internal baffles finally split. So there was like this little hump in the pad, but it still works fine. So TherMAREST NeoAir X LITE, awesome sleeping pad. On the inside of the tent, like for like lighting and stuff, I found this last fall from a company called Princeton Tech. This is the Helix Backcountry. So this is definitely like a luxury item, but I really enjoy having a separate light in my tent. It helps, in my opinion, like mitigate battery use with my headlamp, because I never really know how much I'm going to be using my headlamp. You know, if you're out there, you get something down right before dark, you could be out there for hours with the headlamp on, taking care of an animal, and then long hikes back to camp. So it's nice to get back to camp and crawl into a shelter, turn my headlamp off, and just rely on this. This is a little lantern. So right now it's collapsed, right? But it extends, okay? And it's got these little legs on it. And the legs all have little hooks. So what I do is I'll just like hang this from paracord inside the shelter, and it just lights everything up for me. Another cool thing about it is it's got a red mode on it, which so earlier in the year in January, we had a situation where we hit a buck, and the buck was actually right across from our camp. So what we did, like we went back to camp and like had all of our headlamps on red mode, but then when I got into my shelter, I was able to put this on red mode to not alert this deer to where we were, and it worked out great. We found the deer the next morning, not far from where we left him. So Helix Backcountry, this thing is pretty cool, man. So it just collapses down like that, and it packs really well. While we're talking about lighting, headlamp, this is the Princeton Tech Viz. I have been a black diamond guy for a real long time. I used a black diamond for a lot of years. Had great success with them. I found this though, and this thing, I gotta be honest, this is my new favorite headlamp, and it's simple. But the thing that really sold me on it was the battery life. So last fall, I did a archery elk hunt here in Arizona, and I hunted for like 10 days. I did not change the batteries on this one time, and every single night I was making these like hour-plus hikes back to camp in the dark. That plus, early morning stuff, hiking to glassing spots, camp life, lighting stuff up and everything, I never had to change the batteries on this. So that was something that was really, really impressive to me. It's got like a spotlight mode. It's got 2 little LED lights right here for when you're, if you don't want something as bright, which is what I use it on the most. I feel like that's like the most battery conscious mode, but it's plenty bright. Like this is what I hike with. I actually very, very rarely ever use the spotlight mode. I think like once or twice the whole time I've used this. And then it has a red light on it too. So really, really impressed with that headlamp. Princeton Tech Viz. So that's the lighting. Charging, I usually always bring on these backpack hunts, I bring a Dark Energy PRINCETON with me. This can charge my inReach if I need to. I can charge cameras, my cell phone obviously. So I've had this thing forever. I've only had one and this is the only one. So Dark Energy PRINCETON, awesome charging bank. See here, let's talk about food real quick. So this is how I hang my food on backpack hunts. This is a Sea to Summit 20-liter dry bag, and inside of it is paracord and a carabiner. So I was able to get all of my food into this and hung up in the tree with no issues. I didn't have any more room in it, but this did 8 days. So 20-liter dry bag. And then pretty much like I have 1 day of food here, so I'm just going to kind of give you an example of what I bring with me. And you just times that by 8. So what I have started to shoot for in terms of calories in my food for the day is about 3,500 calories. I used to do 2,600, and I was fine with that for a while, but I don't know what happened, man. Like the more that I backpack hunted and stuff, I found myself getting more and more hungry, and I don't know if it was because I was being more active or what, but I was bumming food off of friends and everything. So I upped the calorie mark on my food. Pretty much for breakfast, what I'm doing is a Heather's Choice buckwheat, either the strawberry or the blueberry, or one of her oatmeals. She just came out with some new breakfast items. Oatmeal, super, super good, man. It's really, really good. I had that on this past spring bear hunt, and I was really impressed with that. Check it. She actually has quite a few new recipes in her menu, and I've tried out a few of them, and they are impressive. It's leaps and bounds from what Heather's Choice was, and I already liked what it was before that. So now it's even better. So I'll do coffee with that in the morning, and then kind of throughout the day, I got stuff here like gummy bears. I got dehydrated fruit, like dehydrated mangoes, packaroons from Heather's Choice, Kind bars. I've got these like protein cookies, these big protein cookies that I've been digging. Lenny and Larry's complete cookie, soup, really filling cookie. For lunch, what I've been doing is, so this is Mediterranean flatbread right here, super packable. And then this is a tuna packet, garlic and herb. Pick your flavor, do whatever you want. But I put the tuna on the Mediterranean flatbread, and you got kind of like a taco dealie after you do that. And then there's some dehydrated mango in there as well. So that's what I've been doing for lunch. And then I've got some Wilderness Athlete, Hydrate and Recover, and Energy and Focus. I do that. I do the Hydrate and Recover every single night I get back from hunting. And I really think it makes a difference after so many years of doing this. Plus, it's just kind of nice to break up the monotony of water while you're out there. So that's pretty much what I eat all day. And then for dinner, I kind of mix it up with, some Heather's Choice stuff, Peak Refuel, Ready Wise, just kind of like whatever I got laying around that I enjoy. I think it's important on these hunts, man, to like, you got to be like conscious of what you're bringing with you in terms of like calories and everything, but like also bring what you like, you know? Don't bring some bland menu that after you go through 2 days, you're not going to want to eat anything, because you need to eat out there. Like, you need fuel. So if that's Snickers, like if you need to throw like Snickers bar in your bag or whatever, like bring the food that you like to eat. All right. So then I got my cook systems, JETBOL, you know, pretty standard. Everything fits in here. Fuel, stove, everything. Spoon, Toaks titanium spoon. Had that thing forever. And yeah, water. Let's talk about water a little bit. Always bring a Nalgene with me. This is how I mix up drink mixes. And it is just nice. Like, when we go filter water, I'll bring this along too and fill this up as well as my bladder, just so I'm bringing extra water back to camp, and then I'll just stash this at my tent. And then when I come back, I've got cooking water, coffee, and breakfast for the next morning. Kind of works out pretty good. So, and then my bladder is a 3-liter platypus. These are awesome. Never had an issue with them. I don't know how many years old this one is. And on talking about water, my filter that I always bring with me is a KATADYN Hiker Pro. This is a pump filter. I've messed around with like squeeze filters and stuff and had SteriPens with me, and for some reason I just always keep going back to a pump, because in my opinion it seems like the most reliable from my experience. I've had the squeeze filters fail on me before in the field. They seem to get clogged pretty easy. They're really convenient. It's super convenient, like hanging up a bag of water and having essentially running water in camp, or, you know, having like a super ultralight squeeze system with you. But I've broken the bags before. The filters seem to clog really easy. So the pump, and this pump in particular, I've used a Hiker Pro for, I don't know, like 5 years or something like that. It's always been reliable for me. And at the end of the year, what I do is I just change out the filter itself, like the membrane in there. I just put a new cartridge in and ready to rock the rest of the year. So that's my filter. Of course, not going to spend too much time on this, but TP, Backcountry Gold right there. Got to have toilet paper with you. All right, let's go into clothing. So, like I said earlier, this hunt, the weather was like pretty unstable. Like, it was not like weather I've experienced in when I went spring bear hunting last year in Idaho. It was nothing like this year. This year was like, it was kind of crazy. So I knew that going into this hunt. I knew it was going to be wet and cold. So I wanted to bring a system with me that kind of reflected that and was like, and that had like a wide range of capability. So what I did was I went, so here's this is just a beanie right here. First Light tag cuff beanie. Love that. But starting at the bottom, I went Wick boxers. I always wear these on every freaking hunt. I love these things. Never had an issue with them. These are the First Light Foundry Obsidians. Love this pant. They're super comfortable. Wide range of motion in them. So great pant. And then underneath that, I don't have them laying around here right now, but I'd also wear the zip off, the First Light zip off long johns. I had those things on literally the whole hunt until we decided to hike out. And when we did, it was super easy. Just, you know, drop the drawers, unzip the long johns, don't have to take the boots off or anything like that. Super, super cool piece of clothing. So, First Light zip off long johns are awesome. So going up top, hooded wick, First Light hooded wick. That was my first layer up top. And then I did hooded kiln, the First Lite hooded kiln. Pretty standard for me right there. Then I added in, I haven't used this in quite a while, but I added in a sawtooth. The sawtooth is pretty cool, man. It's got a hood on it, but it's got, what it is pretty much the whole core area right in here is all insulated, okay? And the arms are mostly merino, as well as the back. So they did this basically, you know, with the assumption that you're going to be wearing a backpack, your back needs to breathe more. There's no sense in having insulation right there, right? Because we're going to sweat right there and stuff. So, yeah, super stoked on that. This also has a DWR coating on it, on the insulated parts, and I've had this out in the rain quite a bit here in Arizona, and it's worked out really well. So that's what I would wear over the kiln. And then I would also brought with me the big dog, the Chamberlain. This is only the second backpack hunt I've ever brought this Chamberlain on. It's just not something that's like regularly in my layering kit for most of the hunts I do, but I am so glad that I brought it because I was so nice and warm on this hunt. And this thing is down, it packs down surprisingly small in the backpack. DWR coating on it. Honestly, most of the time I was there, I say 95% of the time I was there, with how much rain and snow we had, we lost on this 8D hunt. We probably lost 4 days of hunting just to weather, you know, rain, snow, and fog. I think I wore my rain jacket once the whole time I was there, and it was for like 5 minutes. Most of the time I was wearing this with the DWR coating on it, and it worked really well. Like like the water never soaked through. I never felt like the down was like, you know, getting soaked and failing on me. So really love this jacket, man. First Lite Chamberlain jacket. And then down beneath I would wear, this is a CRISPI sock. Comes up to my knee, so I'd wear these every day. And then boots, CRISPI Colorado GTX. Love this boot. This is a newer pair. It's lightweight, but it has a lot of support in it, you know, for like that steeper country. And I've never had one of these leak on me, so I really like this boot. And then over that, I would wear the Brambler gaiters. So never know, like, you know, what the snow situation is going to be like over there, and like crossing creeks and stuff. So I always bring the gaiters with me. And I also, there's a small part of me that likes wearing those gaiters because I feel like it helps with the bugs. So here in Arizona, I got that idea from Arizona. In Arizona, we have chiggers. So that's the reason I started wearing gaiters in the first place. Was I got bit by chiggers real bad one time, like real bad. Okay, like over 80 bites all over my body. It was awful. And ever since then, I started using their Traverse gaiters, actually. So that's like a real tight gaiter that goes around your boot and basically cuts off the opening of your pants. Okay. Since I started doing that and using DEET and stuff, you know, that was everything. So all the clothing was treated without, like, not the insulation, but all the clothing was treated with permethrin as well before I left, just in preparation for the tick situation. And we didn't find any. I only found one last year. So for those wondering if it works, take that for what it is. I've heard some horror stories about, you know, people having to brush ticks off of their pants because there's so many of them. But so I'm either lucky or the permethrin is actually doing its job. So yeah, but anyways, the gaiters, I feel like it helps, like, you know, cut off the cuff of the pants, and so nothing's like crawling up your legs or anything like that, you know what I mean? So that's the clothing system that I brought with me. I'm just gonna actually leave that there. And boots. So optics. I went lighter on optics than I normally do. So this is pretty standard for me. FHF vinyl harness. On the inside, I've got VORTEX 10x42 UHD razors. Love this binocular. It's with me on like every single hunt that I go on. Great for tripod, knock-in, and freehanding. In here, I've got the, this is new actually, the VORTEX Diamondback rangefinder. This thing's sick, dude. Like, it's real fast, super easy to read. I was ranging rocks out to 1,950 yards with this on this hunt. So pretty impressed with this little rangefinder. And the button is super easy to press. It's just a slick rangefinder. So check that out if you're in the market for one. And then I did not bring a spot and scope with me on this hunt. So bear hunting, I just kind of, most of the time I leave the spot and scope at home. You know, like bears don't, when bears are out, they pop. You know what I mean? Like in this area that I was hunting, you're not like glassing through a lot of brush. It's mostly, you know, it's fairly glassable, like it's burn area. So not really concerned about a spot and scope. And then when I do find a bear, you know, you usually kind of tell, you know, you look at enough bears, you can usually kind of tell through your binoculars if it's a bear worth going after watching it for so long. So did not bring a spot and scope with me. The tripod is a VORTEX Summit Carbon 2, which is right there. That's the tripod I bring with me for all of my hunts. So, and then for glassing, I also brought this is a slick little chair, man. This is from HILLSOUND. They're BTR. And I'll open it up for you to show you how it works. So these little legs extend right here. A whole bunch of dirt on that. I just got dirt everywhere. And then it's just folds out into a little stool. And I would sit on this while glassing, sit on it in camp when I'm cooking food or anything like that. Pretty cool. I was actually just recently using this to sit in a ground blind when I was bear hunting here in Arizona. So it's really light. I don't remember the exact weight off the top of my head. I don't know if it says it. 12.6 ounces is how much this thing weighs. So it's really lightweight. And I haven't had any issues with it. This is my second season running it so far. Nothing's broke. So pretty impressed. That's it all packed up right there. It goes right in the side side pouch of my backpack. And then for kill kit, what I brought with me was the Argali coal knife. As far as a knife goes, this is the coal. Super lightweight. It's skeletonized, but it doesn't feel like it, which I love. I fell in love with this knife back in January, cutting up my coos deer, and it was like, I was just really impressed with it. You know, just the feel of it, the shape of it. It's got a, you know, that nice belly right there for skinning. Super sharp point here for initial incisions. Really cool knife that's going to be with me on more hunts in the future. Other stuff that's in here is rubber gloves and some extra paracord. And also, if I ever need to touch that knife up, I'm usually wearing the Argali Kodiak belt. So it's like a fully functional field sharpening situation. Really cool. There's a carbide rod on it. There's a diamond plate, and then there's a leather strop. So you can fully resharpen a blade out in the field. I've had to do it before. You know, you're taking care of an animal, knife gets a little dull, I hit it on the carbide rod back and forth, and then I'm back in business. So that is how I keep that thing nice and sharp in the field. And then the game bags were Argali High Country game bags. So, oh, and then almost forgot. This is my medical kit. Pretty simple. It's a one-person adventure medical kit. It's been with me for quite a few years. As you can see, the bag is super beat up. Basically what I do with this is I just keep refilling my ibuprofen container in there. There's medical tape, there's gauze, band-aids, tweezers, which I've actually had to use before for getting I had to get a splinter out before, and that was really helpful. And then you know, some like antiseptic type stuff. So pretty cool. It fits, you know, right down in the bottom of the side pouch of my backpack. I shove it down on the bottom and hopefully never have to ever use it. So that's that. That is everything I brought with me to Idaho for my backpack hunt. If you have any questions, drop them down below. I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. If you liked the channel, please hit subscribe. If you liked the video, please hit thumbs up. Keep your eyes out for the film on this hunt coming up in the near future. I can't wait to share the adventure with you guys. But until next time, stay safe out there.